The wedding day. Month passed so fast, all the preparation was done. The day come of my marriage. I had lot of dreams about this day. I thought this day was the most beautiful day, but it didn't give me the pleasure and the happiness I thought. And the reason was that I was enter someone's life without his wish of his. I was an unwanted person of my parents, and now I was going to again to be unwanted person of him, my full be husband. Jungkook, sometimes life gives that you never imagined. I always thought that life is full of surprises, sweet surprises, but the reality showed me that life gives you sometimes bitter surprises. When Jenny got married with Guy, I was so happy, but which come after my sister marriage gave me shock. How can people be so hypocrite, so mean? When Jenny informed me about the condition which my aunt put, make me so angry. JK, I have come to meet Aunt Kim and find a way out of it, but she just didn't want to listen to anything. She wanted me to marry her son Thang at any cost. She became so cruel at that time. As I thought for a second, she didn't have a heart. I mean, she was throwing her son like he was a useless stuff, which she can't carry. She wanted to marry his son with a person who was not interested. I tried to talk and solve the matter, but things was losing from my hand, and finally I said yes to marry him. I was really upset about this marriage. That's why I took a break of all this and went to Seoul to settle some issues. I came back to Earth when Price said, "Do you John Taekook, son of Mr. John, accept Kim Tae as your husband?" I didn't reply. The priest repeated the question, and I cleaned my sweaty forehead. "Yes, I do," I said, and accept him as my husband. I was thinking what to do next, how I am going to face him. "You, Kim Taeyang, son of Miss Kim, accept John Jungkook, son of Miss John, as your husband." "I do," I said. As marriage was done, everyone hugged each other and congratulated. My parents and brother, everyone ate sweets and their happiness experienced. My mother made me eat some sweet and hugged me for the first time and congratulated me. But I was not happy. I was worried because I didn't know how my coming life will be. It will be sweet like sweet or same as like I lived in my parents' house like an unwanted person. I was praying in my heart to God to give me courage and show me the right path. Give me the courage to stand with my husband. If it will be hate me, then give me courage to convince his hate in love. I was praying for my happiness in my heart or saying goodbye to my parents and start my new journey with my husband. I hugged my parents and brother and said goodbye to them with teary eyes. I knew they were happy because they got rid of me, but I loved them. They were my family, but they never considered me as their family member. I rose a lot and looked at them all of the last time. I said no emotion in my parents' house. Eyes. I decide the day that I will never come again in this house. Whenever happen in my life, I will never turn to these relations from who I didn't. Then I turned to Jungkook, where he was waiting for me. From now on, I have no one mind but this man standing in front of me. "Miss Kim, goodbye, Theon, my son, The," Mom said, and I turned her to see her. I could see how happy she was. Finally, she was successed in getting rid of me. I moved close to my mom and stood in front of her. I thought when this day will come, I will be crying because I am leaving you. But today I will not cry because you freed me from your hate, and now I'm never going to come back, never ever. With those words, I turned to the man who was now my only family. No matter how he behaved with me, he took me as a burden or anything. But I was not going to give up, will never see their faces again, who never cared. I sat in the car next to Jungkook. He was driving his car for him. He started his car for him, and I for the last time turned to see my house where I was born. I saw my parents looking at me. I didn't look at them for long and turned my face. The hurt was unbearable. How can someone parents be so cruel? That much hate and dislike for their own child. My heart was crying. I was looking at Jungkook who was driving, taking me to his world. and now I want to see his world for him and want to become his world of him. JK, I was thinking what to do next, how I am going to face him, what I am going to say. I sat in my car and sat next to me. I didn't look at him for once. I started driving at the car. Our journey to house began, but all the way I didn't say a word. I was feeling his eyes to me time to time, but I didn't look at him. I was actually fighting for myself. JK. The person seated beside me was reminded me about his first marriage. I took a look at him when he was looking at his hand. I know he was also thinking about this marriage, this all of the sudden incident. For a second, I thought he was also involved in all this, and then I saw his tear accepted from his eyes. He immediately wiped his tear and turned to see me. I immediately turned my face and fixed my eyes on the road. Jungkook. I didn't turn to see him again. We finally reached home and I saw Theon lost in his thought. I came out of the car and opened the door. He was still in the same position. I was looking at him and noticed his long lashes. He was very beautiful and long curly lashes. I come out of my observation and called him, "Come out." I was seated next to Jungkook in car with when he was driving. Car was filled with silence. He did not even look at me. He kept himself busy in driving. I was looking at my heart, which was lying in my lap. I want to say something, but he was quiet. I stole some of his glance and chuckled to the expression him to know what he was thinking. But I found nothing. I was feeling nervous and scared. I didn't know what to gonna happen next. How my aunt family gonna welcome me? I know they have been forced to accept me as their son in law in order to save their daughter's marriage. I will prepare myself to face the situation. I was also thinking about Jungkook, to whom I was going to stay in the same room. How he is going to react on this forceful marriage. Will he accept me or scold me? He hate me. I was lost in my thoughts. Then I didn't notice we reached. Jungkook's voice brought me out of the thoughts and I looked him. I saw that he opened my side of the door and now was waiting for me to come out. I felt embarrassed. I walked slowly and the Jungkook who was walked beside me, we reached to the main door of the house. I saw Jungkook's mom standing there. Some ladies come forward with my aunts. They welcomed us in the house. The welcome was not so warm, but it was not bad. I can say I was taking the hall and all the guests were waiting for us. His face of him was clear. I was not able to catch any kind of expression of feeling on his face of him. After some time, I was taken to Jungkook's room by Jungkook's cousins. They made me sit on the bed. They placed some food in the room. After checking everything is okay, they left the room. I noticed all this. None of them talked to me. It was fine with me. After all, Jungkook's cousin left the room. I looked at the whole room. It was nice and simple room with white color. I was busy looking in the room when Jungkook entered the room. All of a sudden, I lowered my gaze and sat properly. He slowly came to the bed where I was seated. I was waiting for him to say something, but he was all quiet. He is so quiet. Why is he not saying anything? Maybe he is controlling his anger from him. Jungkook, I was roaming in the lawn with a feeling of anger, confusion. I was in kind of situation where I was feeling helpless. I married him, but now I was finding it difficult to go in my room where he was waiting for me. I realized that I made a mistake of marrying. I didn't want to do it. I was not ready for this companionship. Jungkook, my mom came to me and told me to go to my room, and I stopped. I slowly walked toward my room and stand at the door thinking about the next step. I didn't know what to say to him, who was waiting for me in my room as my husband. I went in and saw him sitting on the bed. I feeling my blood boiling. I was being trapped, and the marriage of my sister was about to break only because of this boy who was sitting on my bed.